Ezekiel, chapter 36. Son of man, prophesy to the mountains of Israel and say, O mountains of Israel, hear the word of Adonai, the Lord. This is what the sovereign Lord says. The enemy said of you, Aha! The ancient heights have become our possession. Therefore prophesy and say, this is what the sovereign Lord Adonai says. Because they ravaged and hounded you from every side, so that you became the possession of the rest of the nations, and the object of the people's malicious talk and slander. Therefore, O mountains of Israel, hear the word of the sovereign Lord Adonai. This is what the sovereign Lord Adonai says to the mountains and the hills, to the ravines and valleys, to the desolate ruins and the deserted towns that have been plundered and ridiculed by the rest of the nations around you. This is what the sovereign Lord Adonai says. In my burning zeal I have spoken against the rest of the nations, against all Edom, for with glee and with malice in their hearts they made my land their own possession, so that they might plunder its pasture land. This prophesy concerning the land of Israel, and say to the mountains and hills, to the ravines and valleys, this is what the sovereign Lord Adonai says. I speak in my jealous wrath, because you have suffered the scorn of the nations. Therefore, this is what the sovereign Lord Adonai says. I swear with uplifted hand that the nations around you will also suffer scorn. But you, O mountains of Israel, will produce branches and fruit for my people Israel. For they will soon come home. I am concerned for you and will look on you with favor. You will be plowed and sown, and I will multiply the number of people upon you, even the whole house of Israel. The towns will be inhabited and ruins rebuilt. I will increase the number of men and animals upon you, and they will be fruitful and become numerous. I will settle people on you as in the past, and will make you prosper more than before. Then you will know that I am the Lord Adonai. I will cause people, my people Israel, to walk upon you. They will possess you, and you will be their inheritance. You will never again deprive them of their children. This is what the sovereign Lord Adonai says. Because people say to you, devour men and deprive your nation of its children. Therefore you will no longer devour men or make your nation childless, declares the sovereign Lord Adonai. No longer will I make you hear the taunts of the nations, and no longer will you suffer the scorn of the people. Cause your nation to fall, declares the sovereign Lord Adonai. Again the word of the Lord Adonai came to me, Son of man, when the people of Israel were living in their own land, they defiled it by their conduct and their actions. Their conduct was like a woman's monthly uncleanliness in my sight. So I poured out my wrath on them because they had shed blood in the land, because they had defiled it with their idols. I dispersed them among the nations, and they were scattered through the countries. I judged them according to their conduct and their actions. And wherever they went among the nations, they profaned my holy name, for it was said of them, these are the Lord's people. And yet they had to leave this land. I had concern for my holy name, which the people of Israel profaned among the nations where they had gone. Therefore say to the house of Israel, this is what the sovereign Lord Adonai says. It is not for your sake, O house of Israel, that I am going to do these things, but for the sake of my holy name, which you have profaned among the nations where you have gone. I will show the holiness of my great name. which has been profaned among the nations, the name you had profaned among them. And the nations will show and will know that I am the Lord Adonai, declares the sovereign Lord, when I show myself holy through you before their eyes. For I will take you out of the nations. I will gather you from all the countries and bring you back into your land. I will sprinkle clean water on you, and you will be clean. I will cleanse you from all your impurities and from all your idols. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit in you. I will remove from you your heart of stone and give you a heart of flesh. I will put my spirit in you and move you to follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. You will live in the land I gave your forefathers. You will be my people, and I will be your God. And I will save you from all your uncleanness. I will call for the grain and make it plentiful, and will not bring famine upon you. I will increase the fruit of your trees and the crops of the field, so that you will no longer suffer disgrace among the nations because of famine. Then you will remember your evil ways and wicked deeds, and you will loathe yourselves for sins and detestable practices. I want you to know that I am not doing this for your sake, declares the sovereign Lord. Be ashamed and disgraced for your conduct, O house of Israel. This is what the sovereign Lord Adonai says. On the day I cleanse you from all your sins, I will resettle your towns, and the ruins will be rebuilt. The desolate land will be cultivated. Instead of lying desolate in the sight of all who pass through it, they will say, this land that was laid waste has become like the Garden of Eden. The cities that were lying in ruins, desolate and destroyed, are now fortified and inhabited. Then the nations around you that remain will know that I, the Lord Adonai, have rebuilt what was destroyed and have replanted what was desolate. I, the Lord Adonai, have spoken, and I will do it. This is what the Lord, sovereign Lord Adonai says. Once again, I will yield to the plea of the house of Israel and do this for them. I will make their people as numerous as sheep, as numerous as flocks for offerings at Jerusalem during the appointed feasts. So will the ruined cities be filled with flocks of people. Then they will know that I am the Lord Adonai. Ezekiel 37, chapter 37. The hand of the Lord was upon me, and he brought me out by the Spirit of the Lord Adonai and set me in the middle of a valley. It was full of bones. He led me back and forth among them, and I saw so many bones on the floor of the valley, bones that were very dry. He asked me, Son of man, can these bones live? I said, O sovereign Lord Adonai, you alone know. And he said to me, prophesy to these bones and say to them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord Adonai. This is what the sovereign Lord says to these bones. I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you, and make flesh come upon you, cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life.